This episode of History Saver is brought to you by Addressing Gettysburg. Addressing Gettysburg is a podcast that shares great experiences, quality programs, awesome guests, and is a welcoming community for all who love Gettysburg. So join in with host Matt Callery and find out why Addressing Gettysburg is one of the top-rated podcasts online today. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, CastBox, Podbean, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, right here on YouTube. So check out Addressing Gettysburg today, where history is not boring. Thank you to Addressing Gettysburg for sponsoring this video.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
So today we're at Henricus Historical Park in Virginia, and this was established in 1611 as part of the Jamestown colonies. They saw a need to expand Jamestown, so a guy come out here and founded this site, and we're just going to kind of explore it a little bit. So this is some 1611 history and Jamestown history for you here in Virginia. So big Native American impact here, and you can see the types of shelters they may have had here for the Native Americans. This is a Native American village of the Powhatan, and we just seen a dugout canoe and some different things that look familiar to me. You can see how stone was implemented with bowls, and then how things such as gourds, as you see right in front of us, in front of this tent, would have been used in wood bowls and early things like that, deer skull hanging up. So, and this is a wooden stockade, as would have been as such at the time in 1611. And now we're going to take a look at what one of these English colonies perhaps would have looked like. So this is what it basically would have looked like for English settlement in a wooded stockade. It's very hot, but if you're a settler in Jamestown in 1611 and you're coming into an area you know little to nothing about, and you were tasked with establishing a colony, living here, this is perhaps what you would see. And pretty cool to be able to have a place to come experience that outside of Jamestown, experience the real Virginia colony way of life here in 1611. All right, guys, so we are here in Virginia to see what one of the original colonies here in Virginia would have looked like in the 1600s, and I've got a person who's come back from the past to help us understand a little bit more about what we're seeing.
So you are in the 1611 Fort of Henricus. Specifically, you are in the private soldiers' quarters. We show this as an 8-man barracks. So we have 2 beds downstairs. There's 2 more upstairs. The other 4 men would be on duty. And essentially what's going to happen is in 1609, things get really bad downriver, and that's what's known today as the starving time. So sometimes you'll see the history books say the reason that they starved was because they didn't know how to grow things. That's garbage. England's 90% agricultural. These guys know how to grow things. But what happens is a couple of things. One, our crops are not optimized for this climate. 2, Jamestown's a half-acre fort, and it supposedly had 500 people living in it. End result, all your food is outside the walls. The problem with this is there's about 35,000 unhappy Indians out there too, and they don't like you anymore. So they lay siege to Jamestown, and it will get bad enough that they eat everything slower than they were. Ultimately, they will eat the ultimate slower, because when they run out of such delicacies as boiled shoes and belts, somebody realizes we just put Jane in the ground last week and it's been cold. Out come the shovels. So word of this gets back to the company back in London, and being fairly intelligent individuals, they quickly realize if you're eating your investors, you're not getting more of them. And as a result, they hire Sir Thomas Dale, who's an English knight working for the Dutch fighting the Spanish in the Netherlands. A little dust up called the 80 Years' War. Dale is in garrison duty because the war's in truce. He gets a call from the Virginia Company. Hey, Tom, want to come fix Virginia? It's a mess. And he will show up here in 1611 in spring with 300 soldiers. His men spend that summer rebuilding Jamestown because it's collapsing. And Dale himself is looking for a place to build what's hoped to be the new capital. Spoiler alert, we're not going to ever be the capital. But he builds this place big enough to be the capital. And we think the original fence line ran from the watchtower in that corner through the fire pit and out the Indian Gate. So everything this side of that line, plus another 2 acres, was the fort 400 years ago. That makes us 14 times larger than Jamestown, a full 7 acres.
Okay, so that was a little hot, but a lot of information in there. And as you can see, here, you saw some armor and guns, and here's some early English cannons. Never fail to get my cannon selfie. Cannon, cannon, cannon. Pretty cool. So as we walk our way around here, you've got more cannons spread out. Man, I just want one. And you can see the palisade itself, the entrance, some towers, and then the church, which I'm told they're doing some work in here right now. And then this is basically what the interior would have looked like, as Mr. Terry was just telling us. And the way they used to light the way inside of the fort, blacksmithed lanterns, pretty cool. So as we continue through, we've got carpenter shops, and then a blacksmith shop there, and then an actual farm is going to be, and then an actual farm is going to be in this area. Looks like some pigs, different things may be in here. It smells like it. Some of the crops that would have been grown here as well. So we're in the farm area and we are hungry, so there's some guineas and chickens. Guineas, I think. And they're pretty friendly. They wouldn't be friendly around dinner time. So I guess that's what's on the menu tonight. That's what's on the menu for course number 2, apparently.
Is that a baby lamb?
And we have lambs. So this is the barn, apparently.
What did he say?
Huh. Drying some tobacco. I think this is what that's going to be. And this is Harry. Hey, Harry.
What is this one's name?
Well, he's oh yeah, he's checking out the camera. Got V, the nature girl. Oh, he's coming to say hello to you guys too. Oh, don't eat the camera.
There's a goat over here.
He's wanting to give us an interview.
Don't get too close to the camera. You'll lick it.
He's trying to tell us something. I don't really know what it is. All right, so there's a lot more to see here that I didn't show you. And, well, you need to come see this place for yourself. So I've got to roll out of here. I've got places to go, things to see. And for me, well, this is it. See us on the next episode of History Saver 1941. And keep preserving history. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.